Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Audra stirs the pot with Kyle and Claire, and Kane drops a bomb on Billy and Phyllis. At the Overlook, Claire rants about her grandfather's behavior toward Kyle at the memorial. She's realized he'll never accept them, and she's through trying to convince him otherwise. Claire believes her father would be pleased with her achievements today. Kyle isn't convinced she'll stay mad at Victor. She insists, Victor broke something today, and I'm not sure it will ever be able to be fixed. If Victor does not accept them, she says, it's about time, and threatens to cut Victor out of her life. Claire compares Victor to Jordan. They are people who want to spoil things. She will no longer live that way. Kyle grins. It's at this moment of perfect solidarity between Kyle and Claire that Audra jogs up to stir the pot. Audra expresses her sympathy to Claire, and Kyle directs her to run somewhere else. Before dropping a small bomb, Audra makes a show of tying her shoe. She has Kyle's phone charger. When they were planning their pitch to Kane, he must have left it in her sleeping car. She then talks about the French cocktail parties they went to together. Kyle tells her to pitch the charger out of anger. Before letting Audra know that Nate has been supporting her and her mother, Claire processes everything. Will Victor hear from Nikki? Victor is criticized by Nikki for his behavior at Cole's memorial at the ranch. He's trying to destroy Claire's happiness. Unsurprisingly, Victor refuses to apologize. In disbelief, Nikki crosses her arms and raises an eyebrow at him. Victor grunts that Kyle had no right to be there today with family. His house is there. In a heartwarming exchange, Nikki informs him that this is also her house and that he has no authority over who enters or exits. She informs him that Kyle was previously a member of their family. Despite the fact that he may not want Kyle back in it, Claire has other ideas. Nikki reassures Victor once more that he was wrong to target Kyle today when he gets personal. She begs him to let go of his hatred for the Abbotts because she has no energy for this exhausting nonsense. Victor softens and tells her that he heard her say that life is too short. Once alone, he picks up his phone and summons Audra to the ranch. Kane launches a bomb. In Kane's suite, Phyllis is irked by Billy's attitude toward Kane's once-in-a-lifetime offer. Before Billy learns the specifics of the plans, which involve his family and the mother of his children, he won't do anything to the people he cares about. He asks why Phyllis doesn't care about Nick. She says, it's just business. Billy, who ironically just ended his relationship with his brother, mocks her priorities and asks Kane for more information. How will he take over private companies? Kane doesn't say, but suddenly it seems like it would be better to come clean than to listen to Billy and Phyllis make fun of each other. So he says that each company will become a part of Arabesque. Each CEO would be demoted and would report to him, though they could keep their jobs. Kane, Phyllis, Billy. Kane's belief that Victor Newman will answer to him amuses Billy to no end. While Phyllis takes in the idea of Victor responding to her, they argue. Billy claims that it is a hoax. He is forced to make a choice by Kane. All Billy wants is Chancellor. He is out if Nikki continues to run it. Kane yells, would you just think bigger? What his offering would dwarf Chancellor. Stubborn as ever, Billy says he doesn't need it. Billy claims he's focused on bringing Chancellor back into the family fold in memory of Chance. Phyllis cackles that Billy wants Chancellor back to stick it to his mother and make her wrong for all the time she fired him. Kane sizes Billy up as Phyllis steps out to take a call. Billy tells Kane Phyllis is a loose cannon. Kane points out people have said the same about him. He questions Billy about Jill and he admits there's resentment. Kane tells his not brother that the hardest thing she's ever had to do was sell Chancellor and upset him. He knows this because she attended Colin's funeral and they reconnected when Colin became ill. Billy mutters about the pretend prodigal son being back to take his place and sulks. No wonder she wasn't missing me. Kane maintains that the events between them caused Jill great harm. He served as that person because she was ill and needed to talk to someone. He explains that they reconnected because Colin asked to see her before he died. Billy asks if she knew he was Aristotle Dumas as Phyllis re-enters and says Summer's upset about Chance. What did I overlook? She hears Billy tell her that there is a third party involved in their business situation. Jill. Phyllis. Kane denies Jill's part of the business plan, but is cagier about her knowing he was Dumas. Billy decides to call her after ranting about his mother lying. He gets Jill on a video call and warns that, depending on her answer, this could be the last time he reaches out. Jill's not sure why she's getting an ultimatum. Billy picks up the phone and informs her that he and Kane are here. You knew about him all along, didn't you? Jill doesn't deny it. Billy fumes. That's what I thought. Billy, Jill Victor closes the deal. At the ranch, Audra's surprised to hear from Victor on the day of Cole's memorial. Victor quickly cuts off the conversation and tells her that she didn't succeed in seducing Kyle, and now he thinks he has an advantage over him. I'm not a fan. Audra maintains that Kyle is exactly where she wants him. She was never going to sleep with him. All she had to do was get him into her room. She has already begun to cast doubt on Claire. We're looking at a time bomb ready to explode. Their agreement has come to an end when Victor declares that she is spinning this. He is ceasing business with Vibrante, her company. I'm closing it down right now. Audra. Claire sets off a bomb at the Tack house. Claire and Kyle rejoin Victoria. She declares to her daughter that she will also be taking aim at Victor and assures her that she did nothing wrong with Victor. Claire doesn't care. She and Kyle are about to go through some changes, so she won't waste any more time awaiting Victor Newman's approval. Claire announces to her mother, and Kyle, that it's time for them to move in together. Victoria approves and says Cole would too. Claire deserves to live her life. Victor Newman's opinion be damned. At the scenic overlook in Genoa City, the wind carried Claire Newman's voice, sharp and brittle with frustration. Her eyes burned with tears not of sorrow, but of rage and disillusionment. He embarrassed you, Kyle. At my father's memorial. He doesn't want to accept us, and I'm tired of begging for something I'll never get from him. Kyle Abbott, ever the patient listener, placed a gentle hand on Claire's shoulder, grounding her. The tension in her body was like a taut string pulled to its breaking point. I'm not sure you're ready to cut Victor off, he said cautiously, knowing the emotional minefield he was stepping into. Claire's laugh was bitter, short. Victor broke something today, Kyle. And I don't know if it's fixable. Her voice was steady, but her hands clenched into fists at her sides. He's just like Jordan in the worst ways, controlling, manipulative, incapable of love unless it's on his terms. That's not how I'm going to live. Not anymore. Kyle smiled faintly. Well, if you're finally ready to walk away, I'll be right beside you. Just then, the sound of jogging footsteps and deliberately measured breathing announced the arrival of a third party, Audra Charles. With her sleek ponytail swinging and a performative gleam in her eye, she approached like a cat playing with a cornered bird. Hey, she said smoothly, barely out of breath, her eyes flickering between Claire and Kyle. Sorry to interrupt. I heard what happened today, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry for your loss, Claire. Kyle's jaw clenched. You can run somewhere else. We're not in the mood. But Audra didn't budge. She bent down, dramatically tying her shoe as if time had no claim on her, then looked up innocently. Oh, and Kyle, you left your phone charger in my sleeper car. When we were working late on that pitch to Kane. Remember? Before France. Claire froze, processing the implications behind Audra's offhand remark. Her expression darkened like a sky about to erupt into a thunderstorm. Kyle muttered, "Toss it," through gritted teeth. And those cocktail nights in Paris. Audra added with a wicked smile. The view from the balcony was almost as intoxicating as the wine. Claire raised an eyebrow and took a slow step forward. Funny. Nate told me you've been working overtime to impress Victor. Seems like your campaign is crumbling. Hope it was worth it. Audra's smirk didn't waver, but something flickered behind her eyes. I'm just looking out for my future. Same as everyone else. As Audra jogged off, victorious in her tiny act of sabotage, Claire turned to Kyle. So, were you in her room or not? Kyle didn't hesitate. I was. But nothing happened, Claire. I swear. She's playing a game, and I'm done being a pawn. Claire looked unconvinced, but instead of pushing further, she pivoted. Let's go. There's something I need to say to my mother. At the Newman Ranch, Nikki confronted Victor with the kind of exhausted exasperation only a wife of decades could possess. You embarrassed Claire today, she snapped, her arms crossed tightly. She was burying her father and you couldn't keep your bitterness in check. Why? Because Kyle was there. Victor didn't even look up from his drink. He had no place at a Newman family event. Nikki narrowed her eyes. It's our house, Victor. Not yours alone. You don't get to decide who belongs and who doesn't. Kyle was a part of this family long before Claire knew the truth about hers. And she's making her own decisions now, just like I warned you she would. Victor exhaled, long and hard. That boy will ruin her. No, Nikki countered. You will. The words hung in the air like smoke after a fire, and for once, Victor had no immediate retort. After Nikki left, Victor picked up his phone and made a swift, cold call. Audra, get to the ranch. Now. Back in Kane Ashby's hotel suite, things were getting tense between him, Phyllis Summers, and Billy Abbott. The air buzzed with unspoken agendas and heavy accusations. Phyllis swirled her drink, unimpressed by Billy's hesitation. Kane's offer is bold, maybe even reckless, but it's brilliant. What are you waiting for? Billy stood with arms crossed, expression full of suspicion. Details, for starters. This plan affects my family, my children. And you don't seem too bothered about Nick's ties to Newman Enterprises. Phyllis smirked. This isn't personal. It's business. That's rich, Billy said dryly. Coming from the queen of personal vendettas. Kane, losing patience, cut in. All right, enough. Here it is. Arabesque will absorb these companies. Each CEO stays, but reports to me. They become divisions of a larger empire. Billy let out a laugh. You really think Victor Newman is going to report to you? Phyllis raised an eyebrow at the idea, half amused and half enticed. That's oddly satisfying. Billy shook his head. It's fantasy. You're thinking too small, Kane shot back. Chancellor is sentimental for you. I get it. But what I'm offering dwarfs Chancellor. Billy folded his arms tighter. I'm doing this for Chance. To bring Chancellor back where it belongs. I don't need more. Phyllis rolled her eyes. Please. You just want to prove your mother wrong. Kane observed, quietly evaluating Billy. You resent Jill for selling it. For shutting you out. I get it. But I was there when Colin died. She needed someone. And that someone was me. Billy blinked, stunned. She didn't tell me Colin died. Kane nodded solemnly. She came to his funeral. That's how we reconnected. I was there when she was grieving, when she was vulnerable. Phyllis stepped out to take a call, sensing the temperature in the room shift from competitive to deeply personal. Billy scoffed, pacing. So she turned to you. The prodigal stepson. She was in pain. I listened, Kane replied. That's all. When Phyllis returned, she mentioned Summer was upset about Chance, but Billy's mind was elsewhere. There's one more person in this plan, isn't there? He asked Kane. Phyllis glanced between them. Jill. Kane froze for a beat before denying it. She's not involved. But she knew who you were, Billy pressed. Didn't she? Kane looked away, hesitating. Before he could answer, Billy was already pulling out his phone. He video called Jill Abbott, whose expression turned cautious the moment she saw him. Billy, what's this about? He turned the phone toward Kane. You knew who he was. The whole time. Didn't you? Jill's pause said everything. Yes. I knew. Billy's face darkened. That's what I thought. Back at the ranch, Audra arrived, smug but cautious. Victor wasted no time. You failed, he barked. Kyle isn't distracted. If anything, he's more committed to Claire. I gave you a task. You didn't deliver. Audra, cool and unapologetic, countered. He's playing right into my hands. Claire's already questioning him. You want a crack in their armor? I'm giving it to you. Victor stared coldly. You're spinning. And I'm done with it. I'm pulling the plug on Vibrante. Audra's confident facade shattered for a split second. You can't. I already did, Victor said. Effective immediately. Pack your bags. Meanwhile, at Victoria's tack house, Claire and Kyle walked in, still processing Audra's interference. Victoria met them with open arms and a knowing look. He shouldn't have spoken to you like that, she told Claire. And believe me, I'll be having my own words with him. Claire shook her head. Don't bother. I'm done waiting for Victor Newman's approval. And I'm done apologizing for loving who I love. Kyle turned to her, brow raised in surprise as she continued, we're moving in together. Victoria blinked, then smiled. Good. Your father would have been proud of you for following your heart. Claire smiled, but there was steel behind it. Then let's make sure we honor him by living, not waiting around for a man who will never change. Kyle took her hand, and for the first time in days, it felt like they were no longer looking over a cliff's edge but finally stepping forward together. As Victor Newman stared at the remnants of his failed plan, as Audra watched her empire slip through her fingers, as Billy fumed over Jill's betrayal, and as Kane quietly counted the pieces falling into place, one thing was clear. The game was far from over. But the players? They had just begun to show their true colors. Claire's announcement still echoed in the air of the Tack house like a quiet explosion. We're moving in together, she had said with finality. Victoria stood still for a moment, surprised not so much by the news itself, but by the fire in her daughter's voice. Claire had finally stopped shrinking under Victor Newman's expectations. She was standing tall beside Kyle, choosing a new life over an old legacy. Victoria walked over and pulled her daughter into a tight embrace. I'm proud of you, she whispered. And I think your father would be too. He would have liked Kyle. Claire blinked back emotion as Kyle gave her hand a squeeze. Thanks, Mom. We've been through too much to wait for permission anymore. Victoria glanced at Kyle, then back at Claire. You know this won't go over quietly with your grandfather. I don't care anymore, Claire replied. He can either get on board, or get out of the way. The quiet intensity of her words shocked even Kyle, who had seen her break down more than once over Victor's disapproval. But this time, Claire wasn't seeking validation, she was setting boundaries. Kyle stepped forward. We'll figure things out, and we won't be intimidated. Not by Victor, not by Audra, not by anyone. Victoria raised an eyebrow. Audra. Claire sighed and explained what had happened at the Overlook. Victoria's lips thinned with fury. She's still meddling in your lives? That woman is dangerous. She's trying to cast doubt. She implied Kyle spent the night with her in Paris. She's trying to make me question him, Claire said, voice tight with emotion. But I won't let her. She's trying to fracture you two before you become unstoppable, Victoria mused. Probably on Victor's orders. He already tried to buy off Kyle. Now he's trying to break us, Claire added bitterly. Victoria looked between them. Then maybe it's time we stop playing defense. If you're going to build a life together, you'd better be ready for war. At the Grand Phoenix, in Kane Ashby's suite, the mood was far less tender. Billy threw his phone down on the sofa, disgusted after his video confrontation with Jill. She lied. 4 months. Maybe longer. She knew Kane was using an alias, knew he was pulling strings. And she said nothing. Phyllis crossed her arms, her mind racing. I'll admit, I'm surprised Jill didn't even try to deny it. She just stood there like it didn't matter. She didn't even flinch, Billy muttered. It's like I'm not her son anymore. You're not the only one she's disappointed, Kane said, his voice softer now. But she still cares, Billy. She just doesn't always show it in ways we want. Billy narrowed his eyes. Don't defend her to me. I'm not, Kane replied evenly. But maybe you should stop acting like the only one who got burned. She sold Chancellor to protect it from being torn apart in court, not to cut you out. She was trying to preserve something for the next generation, even if that meant choosing me. Billy shook his head. You're just a stand-in. Temporary comfort. She'll come to her senses. I wouldn't count on it, Kane said with quiet confidence. She told me that what she had with Colin wasn't all lies. He was a bastard, sure, but he had a way of seeing through people. He told her before he died that she needed to make peace with her legacy, whatever that meant.